What's going on, guys? Glad you could tune in again today. Today's video, it's going to be on a subject that was requested of me. It's going to be titled Veganism and Pro-Choice. And kind of the gist of the question is, can you be like hardcore vegan and be pro-choice at the same time, since theoretically their beliefs kind of contradict. And basically what a vegan is somebody that just doesn't eat meat or animal based products and dairy products and eggs, and that was the main point of the question was, how can a vegan not eat eggs and at the same time rally that abortion is okay? And the argument that I've seen is, an egg basically is a cluster of cells making it a creature that would otherwise be born into an animal, and that's why they don't want to eat it. But as we know, an unborn child is also a cluster of cells. And let's see here. There's a lot of information on veganism out there, guys. Like the less, like the basic veganism is it applies to the diet, but we've also seen where that can be applied to other parts of your life, which would be more of the we don't want to use animals as slaves, more or less, to do our bidding. But if we didn't do that, we would see that like we wouldn't have been able to plow fields and stuff like that prior to the invention of the steam engine and the internal combustion engine. So that would have made it would have really dampened the agricultural revolution, which is really what spurred us to be able to make that lifestyle possible, because prior to the agricultural revolution we were hunter-gatherers, and we lived in that lifestyle where we really relied on like game that we hunted and brought in as a very stable food source. Now on the other hand, we look at the pro-choice argument, and that would be for the woman to have total control over her body and be able to decide whether or not she wants to have a baby or not. And now these are just my thoughts, but that's very contradicting in the sense that you don't want to harm an animal, but you're okay with killing an unborn child. Those two modes don't really, to me, they don't really mesh together. So what brings us to that argument is it's the ultimate expression of a female's hypergamistic nature, in the sense that to lock down a male. We've seen this happen time and time again. I know you've probably seen that happen with friends and family, or you at least seen it on TV where a girl will have a baby with a dude to lock him down, hopefully get married, this, that, and the other. And that abortion would allow her to, if at some point up to the whichever trimester it is, I think 12 weeks maybe, something like that. But it's like, all right, got this baby still in the oven, and within that 12 weeks she figures out that dude is not the alpha or the long-term provisioning beta that she thought he was. So we can abort that child to cut that tie or sever that tie that she has with that particular male. And you know, the reason I say this is because we've seen several arguments, you know, with abortions, and that is, you know, well, what is, you know, what if, you know, what if she was raped, and you know, crap like that. And we see that that's not really a super high number of abortions, like very small number of abortions. Like in 2016, there was like 887,000 abortions. 2015, there was like 913,000 abortions. Approximately 19% of pregnancies in the U.S. ended in abortions, and that's excluding miscarriages. Let's see. That's pretty staggering, guys. That many babies are aborted each year. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Now, this was a study done in 2004. Less than 1%, or the way it's less than 0.5% of reported rapes were actually, or less than 0.5% of abortions were actually rape victims. The most, you know, which was 25%, said that they just weren't ready for a child, which is a pretty vague reason why you would want to get rid of a child. So, you know, and that's usually the go-to argument for why, you know, this needs to be legal. The next one, I had a pretty lengthy discussion with a lady on Facebook about this, and once I shot that argument down, the next one was you know, medical problems, which according to this percentage is 3%. So between rape and health problems, we're at 3.5% of all abortions. You know, they're using 3.5% to justify the other 97%, which is, you know, just astonishing. So it's really, you know, the top three is I'm not ready for a child, can't afford a baby, I'm done having children. So the top three, which is 25, 23, 19%, is, you know, they just don't want a child. They just straight up don't want a child, which is very concerning to me, because, you know, if you can say, well, I don't want a child, so we're going to abort this baby, the baby's an inconvenience, basically. At what point does that not, you know, spill over into other avenues? Because, like, you know, the argument is, well, it's not a living, breathing human, so it's okay. Well, you know, Grandma Edith has really bad Alzheimer's, and basically she just lays in her bed, and she kind of talks every now and then, but I'm sure at some point she would fall into one of these I can't afford, or I'm done having, or not ready for. So you're just gonna, you know, get rid of her, and that, you know, maybe even transcend past Grandma Edith, and, you know, like you had a car wreck and you're in a coma. So we're gonna, you know, go ahead and terminate that too. So it's a very shaky ground, guys, and it's a slippery slope that once you go down, it's hard to get back up. But basically, it gives women that ultimate control over their own hypergamy. And I'm going to put the links to this in the. So guys, thanks for tuning in tonight. If you like the content, drop me a comment, hit that like button, subscribe, and tune in next time.